a student at Liberty University, preparing my persuasive speech. Thank you for listening. There's my family. They're listening to everything I have to say with bated breath, and I'll be happy to get this started. I just want to ask you if you feel like me that perhaps we might be losing the Christian fight just a little bit in our country. You almost feel like it's an uphill battle, and whatever you do, you can't win. You feel like you're fighting an organization for some reason when we happen to be the majority of this country. This organization makes us feel like we're the minority. You know, suddenly they tell us, hey, we can't pray in school, hey, you got to get rid of the 10 Commandments. It gets frustrating. It seems like almost everything's engineered to keep pushing Christianity down a notch. But what's bizarre about it is that we used to be, I guess, we used to thought we were a Christian country, founded by Christian leaders. You know, our morality was all Christian, and then something like that, boom, it all changes and it goes away. And it's really hard to figure out, and you almost wake up wondering just what the heck's going on. And I think one of the reasons why we're kind of like a little dreamy with this whole situation, why we don't understand it, I like to call it the Santa Claus effect. The Santa Claus effect would be compared to that awkward age, you know, when you're a little kid, and you start, questioning, you start thinking, I'm not quite sure Santa Claus is real. You know that part where you're like, I don't know how you get to all the houses or fit down the chimney, or hey, I was a really bad kid this year, but somehow he didn't give me coal, he still gave me good gifts. You start scratching your head. It's even worse when other little kids are making fun of you and they're saying, hey, there's some problems about Santa Claus that you might need to think about. But you don't want to do it because you like Santa and leaves you presents. But then, of course, you find out later, hey, Santa's not real, he's a fake, he's a fraud, and it's really my parents doing it. And then for whatever weird reason, you get older, and then you tell your kids the same crap. And then your kids then tell their kids that story. And now you still have Santa all over the place. And which was bizarre was it all had to do with Christianity. And now in our society, we're encouraged to believe in a myth, but then no one can actually talk about Christ during Christmas time because it makes everyone uncomfortable. And that's just one example of, we got to wake up a little bit and wonder and say, hey, maybe our federal government, our Constitution, maybe the way we live isn't exactly how it seems to be. And maybe we're being told to believe in a Santa instead of in a Christ. And even though we know the difference, somehow we keep ignoring it generation for generation. But the problem is, though, Christians, is that eventually it's going to get us. It's going to bite us in the back, and we're going to be persecuted just like every other generation before us, especially through the history of the world since Jesus Christ has had to go through. And I think we need to do our best to prepare for that moment. Now, if you're not sure, I'll give you a couple quotes from some famous leaders we had. I have a really favorite quote from Benjamin Franklin. He said, lighthouses are more useful than churches. Okay, that didn't sound too Christian. I got another one from James Madison. During 15 centuries has the legal establishment of Christianity been on trial. What has been its fruits? More or less in all places, pride and indolence in the clergy, ignorance and servility in the laity, and both superstition, bigotry, and persecution. Wow, James Madison, Declaration of Independence, architect of our government. Man, he really sounds like he's all about Christianity. He loves Christians. How about John Adams, second president? He says, as I understand the Christian religion, it was and is a revelation, but how it has happened that millions of fables, tales, legends have been blended with both Jewish and Christian revelation that have made them our second president, another founder of our country. Sounds like he really loves Christianity. Well, let's do another one. This is my favorite, Thomas Jefferson. He says, the day will come when the mystical generation of Jesus by the supreme being of his Father in the womb of the Virgin will be classed with the fable of the generation of Minerva in the brain of Jupiter. So we got Thomas Jefferson saying that Christianity is like Greek mythology, it's just a joke, and he can't wait to get rid of it. So that's our founding fathers. Even George Washington. Say, what about great George Washington? We all know he was a Freemason. He never talked about Jesus as a deist, and he proudly told in other countries and treaties, guess what he said? He said, we're not a Christian country. We have nothing to do with Christianity. So why in the world do we defend these people, fellow Christians? Why do we say that we had Christian founders who founded on a Christian country? Why do we have the all-seeing eye? Why do we have an Egyptian monuments, hieroglyphics running around? Why do we even have people considering that there's a shape of a pentagram right where the White House is at the bottom point? Why do we have others saying, look, looks like we got an owl where the Capitol building is? And see, the reason why people bring up these questions and we laugh at them is we don't think it's possible that these founders of our government are pagan. We don't think that they're enemies of Christianity. You know why? Because we don't want to believe it. We want to believe in Santa Claus. We want to believe that everything's okay. We don't want to know what Freemasonry is. We don't want to know the roots of that. We don't want to read truly the world history and find out what really happened in Mexico during the Revolution or Spain during their revolution. We don't want to really know about the French Revolution and how bloody they are. And that's why it's very important for us to learn what true religion is with our founding fathers, what these symbols mean, and how it affects us and how it applies to us. So that way we can get over the whole fairy tale of Santa Claus and get right back to Christ and the true meaning of Christmas and the true meaning of what this country is and what we can do for it. Thank you very much, and God bless.